up with music. We're gonna. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Tom's Hardware podcast for today, August 1st, 2023. As always, I'm Tom's Hardware Editor in Chief, Abram Pillage, joined by Associate Editor Les Pounder, Raspberry Pi expert Ash Hill, and our very special guest, friend of the show, Ryder Damen. Ryder, it's been a long time since we've seen you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Back building things and very happy to be doing it. So I'm glad to be back.
Fantastic. So what is your latest big project? I heard you are working on something with a truck.
Yes. So it's something that I wanted to do for quite a few years. I came up with the idea during midway through the pandemic, and I was really, really wanting to build it, and I just ended up being lazy and not getting around to it. But it was one of the ones that I was thinking, oh, I should have built that. And then finally I found some time about last month, and I put the thing together. So essentially what it is I've turned my pickup truck into a dot matrix printer. I called it a dot matrix printer, but comments were quick to point out it's more of an inkjet than a dot matrix. But still, essentially, it's all run by a Raspberry Pi. There's some solenoid valves on the back of the truck. It's got some programming in it and a relay to control each one of them. And as you drive along, it drops water on the road. So you can spell out things that can be seen very well from a drone, kind of well from the street, and decently well from the second floor of someone's house.
That's super cool. So you've got all these solenoids now, and so are you just dropping water? Is that what's pushing the messages out into the road, or?
Yeah. So there's a bucket that sits. You'll see it a bit later in the video, but there's a bucket that sits on that platform, and it's a windshield washer pump, I think, that I've connected to it, and that pressurizes the lines, and then the solenoids will open or close, and then water will just kind of fall out of them. It's not too high pressure, but I'm working on a second version that's a little bit higher pressure right now.
That's neat. So how do you set the messages? I saw in the video, there's letters and words and spaces. How are you setting the messages for it?
Yeah. So the whole thing is a Raspberry Pi, and that Raspberry Pi is connected to a cheap router that I have that broadcasts a Wi-Fi network. So I sit in the cab of the truck. It's a two-person job. Someone else drives, and then it's a simple web page that I've exposed, and then you just type in the message. You type in the speed of which the truck is driving. I wanted to automate that, but I got too lazy. And as it drives forward, then it takes an image of that text. It splits it into the sections of where the solenoids are, and then it creates timing from that as you drive forward.
Oh, that's really cool. Are you able to orient the letters a different direction? Maybe you wanted to show something to the person maybe behind you on the road. It might be hard for them to read, but
yeah. So it's pretty easily done. I didn't actually do it, but it's pretty easily done because it's just essentially a code change. So it could do pretty much anything you like, even images, but the resolution is just 12 solenoids on the back. So we're kind of limited as to what we can do. Actually, right there in the video that just you saw was our attempt at cursive writing. And it did not work out very well. But this font, I think it's maybe Roboto, works very well.
Are there other fonts programmed into it?
I can accept any font that's available within the, I think, Python Pillow library. But realistically, there's no reason why we couldn't put any font in there, as long as it's got the correct resolution and all of that.
Do you have punctuation? I didn't notice.
Yeah.
You can make smiley faces and stuff too, huh?
Yeah, you probably could. I never actually tested with smiley faces, but we did do an exclamation mark and it worked. And then one of the things we wanted to try was how fast it could go. And the most legible it was when we were driving about 30 kilometers an hour. So I'd love to get it up to 50 so I can sneakily drive by my friend's house and leave a message.
It's like, hey, look outside at the road.
That's neat. Is it easy to? How does it get washed off? Like, or does it just stay there?
It just stays there until it evaporates. It's just water.
Oh, it's water. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were
Okay.
doing it on a hot day, so it only lasted about. You can see it start to fade when we were testing
Right.
it across the parking lot. So 10 minutes.
Yeah. Cool. That.
So you don't get in too much trouble.
Yeah. Dude.
No, although all of the comments have been use paint, use gasoline, all of this stuff. So I think I might need some permits if I'm going to do that.
If you had permission and you wanted to, could you do that? Use paint?
Yeah, there's I mean, maybe the viscosity of it might pose a bit of a challenge, and it would definitely wreck all of the equipment, but I don't see why not.
Yeah, as that dries, that would be hard to keep clean. You'd have to like run thinner through it, and it would break down your tubes. And
The pump and the solenoids, which take forever to order. So,
but maybe you could throw in some food coloring or something.
I was just
that's
going
a
to suggest that.
possibility.
Yeah, some sort of UV tracer dye, which reacts with water.
Yep.
Because that just disappears. The next rain that comes along, it disappears into the water table, and it's just gone.
Yeah, one of the suggestions was apparently there's some sort of compound. Maybe that's the one you're talking about, but you can print it on the road, and then it only shows up when it rains. Some sort of hydrophobic liquid or something like that.
That would
this
make
stuff reacts
somebody
with
mad.
UV, so it's like a yellow dye, and as soon as the UV light hits it, it lights up fluorescent yellow. It's really vivid.
Yeah, my goal for this project was to not damage public property, so I might avoid the rest of the suggestions.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I could see a business doing this though. Like, you know how people do skywriting, you could have road writing or parking lot writing or something like that.
Absolutely. And in fact, I've been contacted by many businesses who are doing something similar. So it's
Neat.
printing on roofs and printing at sporting events and those sorts of things on the ground.
Yeah, there
That's
you
pretty
go.
cool.
So
Yeah.
you just find someone who has an office that's above a parking garage, and then when they want to make a wedding proposal or something, you go and you write it out, or even like a baby announcement or something. It's a
Absolutely.
boy.
Birthdays or advertising lunches for offices.
Yeah, there's so much potential there. Although, of course, you have to find a road that people can see from elevated, and then.
And there's that time frame of everyone has to be looking at it within 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's got to be a sunny day too.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, still, I think this is such a cool use of the technology. Like, can you increase the resolution in some way? Like, can you get it to be able to do more in terms of like maybe imaging?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can definitely put in more solenoids. We just start to get to the limit of what's possible to control with the Pi, because right now I'm kind of maxed out on GPIO pins. And I believe there's ways to get around them. I just don't know what they are yet. So I might be looking for some help. But yeah, there's no reason why I can't add more. And then one of the coolest suggestions that I really liked from the YouTube comments were you should create a print driver for it, so you can send actual print documents and then like drive back and forth in a parking lot.
Well, I think that the obvious step there is to be able to do this with a self-driving car, or not even a real car, but like a self-driving something.
Absolutely.
Maybe, if it doesn't have to be a full-size automobile, could it be done with like some type of a robot or automated cart or something like that?
Yeah, one of the kind of tangential ideas I was thinking of was a small robot with 3 types of seeds in them for different colors of flowers, and then just let it loose on a field or something to have it plant like RGB pixels on a field, and then when it all grows, it becomes a very pretty picture. But for that, I would need some land and a lot of flowers.
Yeah, that's I could totally see somebody doing that to, like, like you say, a sporting event. A lot of times they'll do stuff, I think, to like put, I don't know how exactly they do it, but to like paint things on the field or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's
Tons of possibilities, and I really like it because my kind of thing when I'm building projects like this is I like to mix old technologies and new technologies. So like putting the Google Assistant on a rotary phone and that.
That was a good one.
So
Yeah.
like a dot matrix printer with my truck is kind of a very fun thing to do.
yeah, that is really awesome. How do you think? This is a tough question. I'm going to ask you. How do you think LK99 would improve your projects?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. It's the latest. Ash, Les, you know what I'm talking. Do you know what I'm talking about? LK99.
No, I think it's a droid from Star Wars, but
No. Okay, so it's the big science drama right now is that this group in Korea claims, and some others claim to have replicated their work, but there's a lot of skepticism to last week to have created the first room temperature semiconductor.
oh, I know about that. I didn't know the LK99
Yeah,
bit.
that's what it's called, LK99, the room temperature. That's what they're calling it. So it's some material that they've made that's supposedly not semiconductor. I'm sorry, superconductor, room temperature superconductor. So theoretically speaking, you would have like no heat loss or whatever. I'm wondering what that would do to, I don't know, to some of the crazy projects that people are able to do with Pi. Like, I guess you'd be able to get more out of your batteries and things like that.
Yeah. No waste heat.
Yeah.
But also, isn't a superconducting chip at room temperature also the basis for the T-800's brain in Terminator?
Oh no! Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Well,
in T2 when they go to Cyberdyne, there's all that spiel, and one of the things is about superconducting at room temperature. We're
there you
doomed.
go. It's only taken this amount of time to get there. But yeah, that's the big science news of the week so far is that supposedly there are a couple of people who claim to have replicated it or whatever. Makes you wonder what that could do with. I mean, Pi projects are probably the least of it, but nevertheless, you could probably do a lot. You could probably do a lot because you would have, I mean, wouldn't need a cooler on your Pi, and you could probably still get pretty good speeds.
I'm just thinking that all the heat sink companies, all the water cooling companies, they'd be out of business overnight.
I think it'd take. They first have to make the chips that do it, though. So I think that would take. Consider how long they've taken to go from like 10 nanometer, from like 14 nanometer to 7 nanometer. I don't expect to see anything good for like 10 years, but who knows? So what else? What other exciting projects are you working
on? Not too much right now. Yeah, I hadn't built anything for about a year, so this was kind of the coming out of retirement moment. But yeah, I'm building a version 2 of this printer right now. It's a little bit more powerful. I'm using a couple more pumps, and I'm trying to increase the resolution. And I'm putting everything inside this very old chest, so it doesn't look as sketchy as it looked the first time. Right now,
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, but I was driving around town, and I had like all these solenoids that are dripping water with like wiring going everywhere and hoses, and it just looks very suspicious. So
What are you polluting the environment with?
Yeah. I'm trying to hide it a little bit more. Yeah, I've got some other things in the works, but since it took me about 3 years from thinking of the idea to actually building this project, I don't really want to say them publicly because Lord knows how long it'll take me to actually make them.
on? Fair enough. Are you thinking of ways to use AI in any of your projects?
All the time. Yeah, I'm doing It's less of the hardware bit, but I'm doing a kind of challenge for myself right now where I'm trying to build 6 AI-powered websites in 6 months. So right now I've got one up, I think it's like liveabroad.fyi, and it scans all the different visa options for people of Canada, the US, the UK, and where they can go and essentially live in another country and work in another country, just in one kind of searchable database. And that's all powered by just parsing through large language models like ChatGPT.
How do you assure the accuracy of the content?
Manually. There is really no way to do it properly because ChatGPT loves to lie. So I have a big disclaimer on the bottom of the website that says this is AI generated. As always, check the source material before you make any important decisions. But yeah, a lot of it is me manually checking it, which I hope to automate. And things have gotten much, much better since like when I started doing these kinds of projects 10 years ago. But we've still got quite a long ways to go before we can trust large language models, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no question about it.
Yep.
So, speaking of cool projects, Ash, you have been documenting some of the coolest projects of this month, or I guess I should say of the past month. What are some of the best things you've seen?
Well, we've got a list of 10 that's going to be posted to Tom's Hardware soon, but it's not ready just yet. So I've got 3 projects that I think should get you excited for it. I'm going to switch my screen over to show them to you guys now. And as always, as I'm going through these, interrupt me with your comments about it because these are some cool projects and there's a lot of neat things to say about the stuff the Pi community puts together. I mean, Ryder's crazy enough with his ideas, but there's a whole community out there that comes up with some cool ideas too. So the first one I wanted to share is this Raspberry Pi smart bird feeder. It's got, well, obviously it's a bird feeder. It's got bird food in it, and it's got a camera and a microphone. And what it does is it will try to use AI to identify what birds are stopping by, or maybe a squirrel, I guess, if a squirrel stops by. And it can also listen for birds to try and identify them by sound. And I thought that was pretty cool. Here's a picture of it in action. It's got a little bird there, and I think it's a house sparrow is what it's telling you it's most likely. I can't tell you if it is or not for sure, but the Pi seems to think that it's a house sparrow, and I'd believe it. It's close enough. You're going by AI, right? So how much do you trust it, right? And the next one, since it's summertime, I thought some summer-themed projects. Well, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's summertime. And I thought another outdoor project would be good to feature. So this one makes life a little bit easier. It's an automatic lawnmower using a Raspberry Pi. It's got a beautiful web interface, so you can drive it manually or let it drive itself. I think you can specify boundaries for your lawn, unless you're just generous and want to keep mowing the whole neighborhood. And it probably has a range of how far it can go. But this has been a working project for a while. There's a few different iterations. You can see the picture up here up top has more all-terrain looking wheels than this one here. It's like 3D printed, much more smooth, might be a little more difficult to mow your yard with. But as far as like a test goes for prototyping, it's perfectly fine. And it's got a battery pack. So can you imagine trying to have an automatic lawnmower with a cable? That would just be ridiculous, wouldn't it? And then the third project I wanted to share with you guys is the Pico butt warmer. We mentioned it before. I thought it was hilarious, and I had to bring it up again. This guy is using a Raspberry Pi Pico to heat his seat automatically. It pulls data. I think it uses ChatGPT. Hold on. Yeah. More AI using ChatGPT to help determine like what the weather is outside and what temperature would be optimal for your butt, to make your experience of sitting much more comfortable. And it uses our favorite microcontroller, so how can you not love that? Toasty butt and Raspberry Pi Pico. Oh, and another reason you should go check out the list of best Raspberry Pi projects is because Ryder's truck made it to our list last month because it was just that good.
Of course.
Didn't even know that.
Every month when he's coming out with projects, Great
It gets
majority
featured,
for
and
us.
we're not biased. They're
Yeah.
just that good, Ryder. We don't ever want you to calm down.
Yeah. Yes. Ryder, don't calm down.
Yeah, Ryder,
so-
get amped up.
Les, you've got an exciting new robot on your desk that you're using right now.
I have indeed, yes. So we've had it on the show before, a few weeks ago now, but it's still in the box and not doing anything. So we've got a different camera angle. I've set up just before the show. And this is the Elecfreaks CM4 XGO robot kit. Now, this is $750 a robot here, straight away. So it's an expensive robot, so it's going to have to be good. And build quality, superb. It comes pre-assembled to go. Battery packs all inside. Lovely machine. And it's got a few ways to control it. You've got some demos that you can select from the screen. So the CM4, Compute Module 4, is inside here, along with the camera. Can do face tracking, object tracking, so I can get coloured balls, that sort of thing. And it can follow them. It can pick them up with a little hand here. Really clever. It's also got a control system based on an app, and I can show you that now. So I'm going to do some very simple stuff, some gestures with it. So we can have it lie down. We can have it crawl around. And this absolutely freaks my wife out. She hates it. Now spin around. Hopefully not fall to your death. There we
I
go.
like the tippy tap sounds of the feet.
Good, isn't it? Because it's a dog, we can also make it pee.
Must be a fellow.
But we've also got controls such as radio control, so to speak. So I can click on here, go to the advanced settings, and I've got controls. Remind me to put it nearer to myself and not the end of the desk. We've got full control over it.
How much does it weigh? Do you know?
I don't know, actually. I'll say 6 bananas for that one.
That's
Banana
about
for
a
scale.
bunch.
Yeah. Got control of the arm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is the camera mounted on the arm?
No, the camera's just above. Let me get the thing in shot.
Oh, I
Right
see.
there. So you've got the CM4 is sandwiched inside here between a screen. Oh, let's get in shot. There you go. USB-C, micro HDMI. So you can plug it in and use it as a normal Pi, so to speak. You get a little breakout for the USB.
Mm.
It's got Wi-Fi. It's got Bluetooth, obviously. It's got built-in storage, but it also has micro SD storage as well, he says. Where is it? There it is. So it's a nice machine. So I managed to get the controls working with the phone, and I managed to get the demos working on the screen. So if I press the button down here, you can see it's going to start singing. So you've got demos that can run just like this, where it shows you what it can do. But what I want to do with it is actually program with it. Now, it has a block-based language to program it, and it can be programmed in Python. I've not been able to get that to work just yet. I'm having a few problems. So I've contacted Elecfreaks to get some details on how to do it. That's going to go into the review. But it's interesting. Right now, it's more of a curiosity than a purchase, because it's a lot of money, $750. So it's got to be really good to warrant that amount of cash. As I say, build quality, fantastic. Software at the minute, still work in progress. I still need to see what the review is going to come of it. But as you can see, it moves fluidly. It runs beautifully. And it's also exceedingly scary running across your living room floor.
Yes. You know, it's cool that it comes pre-assembled, but I think it would have been really fun if it came in pieces and you had to put it together.
I mean, it's possible, because it literally just is screwed together. So you could get a kit for a cheaper price, I would assume.
Yeah.
But it's aluminium pieces as well. It's proper metal.
Do you have to do anything to kind of adjust or synchronize the legs?
No. It's automatic. They're and I'm going to be quoted by Chris Parrott from Pimmeroni on this. These are serial servos. They're not the standard SG90s, which have that little servo twitch from PWM.
That'll
These
boost the
are-
price up.
Now, I'm not going to explain how Dr. Parrott explained it to me because I can't remember. It was 3 weeks ago when he said this to me. But they're better servos. They haven't got the twitch and they just work really well. So they're really good for applications such as this. I need to remember what he said to put that in the review. But really nice machine. I'm looking forward to programming it because right now it's just more of a remote control toy. And I want to actually do some proper work with it.
Does it have a microphone or speaker?
It has a speaker because we just heard it do the song.
Right.
It's telling us about its little dog. Microphone. I can't see one. I'll have to check in the spec sheet for it, actually. Actually, yes,
Voice
it has
commands
got a
would be
microphone. It has got a microphone. Bear with me. I will just go to the
That's a
option.
touch screen?
Not a touchscreen, no. Let's get the camera back there. So you can see it's got a speech program there in the examples. And you can give it commands. So yes, it has got a microphone. But I don't think it detects my accent very well, my broad Lancashire English accent.
So
I know the feel.
one possibility, it's still a lot of money for what it is, but one possibility would be, you could use this as a full telepresence robot because you could, it's a little weird, I grant you, but you get that and you can project your face on the screen, right? It has a camera, it has a microphone, it has a speaker, it has everything you need to do a call, right?
And you can make it do a song and dance on the table in the middle of a meeting to drive your coworkers crazy.
You could, right? Because you could walk around the office with it or whatever, and then if you see anybody, you could tap on their leg or whatever and be like, "Hey." Now if somebody steps on it and breaks your $750 thing, you're going to be really upset. But
that's going to be so weird in the office. You're saying, "Where's Avram?" Oh, he's just dancing on top of that desk.
Yeah.
Now, have you tested? Does this climb ramps or stairs or anything like that?
Still early days. I only got the app working about 2.5, 3 hours ago.
Oh, okay.
There's been a few issues.
There's a natural comparison here between that and the Pet Toy Biddle, which Ange and I have tested, and that is an expensive piece of kit also. It's $330, which is half the price, but still pretty expensive, right? Yeah. And that one, we had a lot of problems keeping it together. I still have the pieces over there because every time something happened, you had to recalibrate the legs, which is a really big pain in the butt. And then the head falls off almost all the time. You might as well run it without a head. That one doesn't have a head, so no problem. But the Pet Toy one, the head is used to hold the camera piece if you buy the camera piece. Yeah. And it's not really screwed on piece of plastic, and it just kind of comes off, which is, if you're playing with kids, is a little bit weird. Hey, make sure you recapitate your dog.
It adds a new meaning to running a headless pie.
Yeah, exactly. So that seems like a way, way more advanced product that operates in a similar vein, and then it also acts like a dog and walks like it. Which I guess they're all based on the Boston Robotics dogs that the police use now.
So we can test the robot's legs now, see if they orientate correctly. So I've just moved them out of position, so you can see now it's like a spatchcock now, it's butterfly chicken. There we go. So if I press the button, this is going to start the pie up, and the robot's going to start. So the pie controls all the AI side of it. It has some basic AI for OpenCV. But all the robot's motors are controlled using an ESP32. So that's a coprocessor. So if I press the button now, we're going to see the legs. Yeah? So it knows the position of the legs. And you can also program it. It's one of the demos. We've not had a chance to play with that yet. You can program it to have a set pattern. So you can give it the ball, close the grippers around the ball, move it around, move the legs around, move the head around, so to speak. Remembers the pattern. You then press play. It repeats the pattern, which is really cool. But I've only seen that in video.
Dumb question, but that arm, what can you realistically do with it? You just showed the ball, so it's probably not very strong. You can move the ball places. Is that kind of the appeal of it?
It's metal. It has a servo attached to it, but my guess is it's not going to be able to pick up anything of real weight. So it's not
It
going to be
can't bring
handy
you
as
a beer from the fridge or anything.
No. So that's it. It's not like those robots from the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really cool. It's really expensive, but if I were Elon Musk, I would have spent the money on that instead of Twitter. You know, yeah.
X-Dog.
I mean, that's what with with that amount of money, you can buy one of those and one of the new Apple Provision headsets, and have about as much as Twitter is worth today. So, but that seems really cool. I look forward to seeing your full review of it. And what would you do with one of those robot dogs, Ryder?
Ooh, I'd need about 10 of them, and then I would have them all pull me on my longboard like a dog sled or something.
There you go. See, that would be pretty neat.
Put
Or
those
like-
robot arms to use.
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't come up with that on the fly. I've been trying to pitch a robot dog company that for a couple of years, and they're not about it. So.
Wow, I wonder how much torque you would need, like how much to pull a sled with a person on it.
Okay, but what if you had a big race and the whole idea was you had to have a robotic dog for like your dog sled race, so like everyone has their own version of this.
Ooh, I like that. Now we're talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Les, you got to time actually how fast. Part of your review, I think you should time how fast that thing can run.
I'll have a go. I'll set up a speed trap for it, and I'll get some questionable looks from the people on my street, but we'll give it a go anyway.
Yeah, whether it can go up and down stairs, and whether it can speed. I mean, maybe you use that to defend against one of Gene Simmons' metal spiders.
Oh yeah.
Another
what was
old
that film called again? That was Tom
Runaway.
Selleck. Runaway. That's it.
Another old person robot reference. But anyway, yeah, that sounds like a really cool use. So we really look forward to reading more about it, and we really look forward to what Ryder is working on next, because he's always doing amazing things. Well, thanks.
No pressure.
No pressure. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening today. As always, we are here on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. UK time, and we will see you all then. Bye, everyone.